Hello, precious souls. Alexandra True here.
Okay.
And I'm here to talk a little bit about something I learned in Pilates class. So, I have a wonderful Pilates instructor. Her name is Kendra Tyne. I'm going to put her website up so you can see it. She does Zoom classes. And so, for about a year, maybe more, I've been taking her classes. And one of the things that she does during the class is she says, now lift your toes and one at a time from the pinky to the big toe, lower it into the ground as if you're sticking it in gushy, squishy mud, right? So when she told us this, I'm like, what? Individually? Put just one toe at a time? That doesn't compute in my brain. My toes are a unit, a team. They work together. They don't work independently at all. Never have, never will. So that was my thinking, right? So I told her, I said, I don't know, Kendra, if I can ever do this. She goes, just keep trying. Just keep trying. So kept trying. And the other day, lo and behold, my right pinky toe moved independently. I mean, it doesn't do it all the time. A fraction. And something happened in my brain to make that happen. And it was the repeated motion of creating a new neural pathway, let's say, okay? A new way for my body to move that it hadn't before. And the thing that was so mind-blowing to me, I mean, this is no big deal, right? People don't care if my pinky toe moves or not. But the thing that was so mind-blowing to me is that after my husband's stroke, we had to work with him to get him to make all these new neural pathways in his brain because he has something called hemiparesis, which means that the right side of his body is, at least in his case, the right side of his body is not really working. It's what they call flaccid or weak. And like at first, he couldn't move anything. Didn't even know he had that side of his body. So he's come a long ways and can have some movement. It doesn't mean that he can tap his foot or, do much. He can push a button, I think, if it's not a hard button, with his hand, and he can stand now, and sometimes move his leg. But what I was thinking about was, I have worked for a year on one toe, one pinky toe, not even a big toe, pinky toe. He has been working for 3.5 years on half of his body. And I just had so much more compassion for him when I thought about that. I mean, imagine that half of your body didn't do what you wanted it to do. Pretty frustrating. And the fact that he's still plugging away at very small victories, very small things to celebrate. Oh, look, he can squeeze 3 pounds now with his thumb and index finger. These are just small victories. Oh, look, he can stand for 4 minutes now instead of 1 minute. So I just wanted to give kudos to him and to thank Kendra for helping me to understand how bodies that you think can't do something eventually do it. And that gives me hope, if you work with them. And we should never limit ourselves to say, well, I don't know how to do that. I mean, we can learn, which is pretty cool. And our brains are amazing. The way they change, and the way they are, well, they call it, that plasticity that in the brain they call it. But it means that they're not set in stone. Our bodies, our lives are not set in stone. We don't have to give up and just accept what we think we're dealt with sometimes. Sometimes we do, right? I mean, there are some things that it's best just to accept. But our bodies are so miraculous. So that was my insight and something I wanted to share with anyone that's taking care of a stroke patient or someone that has those kind of neurological issues, maybe paralysis or anything like that. We don't use that word, in fact, around Dan. I don't even like to say that's his weak side. I like to say his left side is the strongest one. It's super strong. And that's how I like to describe him when someone's meeting him, and wants to shake his right hand or something. I'll say, oh, his left hand, he'll knock you down with his left hand. So I like to put the emphasis and the accent on his strengths and not his deficits and weaknesses. And do that with yourself too, right? I mean, we all have strengths and weaknesses. But when we focus on our strengths and give ourselves the credit we deserve for having those strengths in some way, then do it, right? All right. I know it's a silly little thing that my pinky toe moves, but I wanted to share that wonderful insight with you. Okay. Signing off. Hope you have a terrific day. Bye.